Well, hello again from Tracking the Blood Trail for Christ. We are continuing the series on the bucks on the wall, and as you can see over my shoulder here is, I think, one of my nicest mounts. It's a mainframe 8-point, scored almost right on the dot at 130. Was extremely symmetrical, and I just really like the mount. I like mainframe whitetails, and when everything's pure on them. Um, and again, this deer was harvested with a shotgun with a rifled barrel, and I was hunting along a slight drainage, and off to the one side of that drainage was a thicket, and I was hunting along that side so that I could watch the edges of the thicket and still be able to see into the timber. Uh, um, about an hour and a half after daylight, uh, a few does began to move through my area, and some smaller bucks that I chose not to shoot because we were looking for something better in this particular hunt. And it wasn't, again, too long after daylight that I began to hear a lot of commotion in the thicket, which put me on high alert because it was the type of commotion that every deer hunter wants to hear. It's one that bucks are chasing does. And it sounded very chaotic in there. I couldn't see all that was going on. Every now and again, I got glimpses of antlers and body parts and so forth. And then as time happened to transpire, 20 minutes and then 30 minutes, the commotion eased up, and I looked down along the edge of the thicket, and I happened to see a doe very gingerly stepping out of the thicket, looking both ways like she was getting ready to cross the street. And then she began to turn and sneak down along the thicket right in my direction. And I thought about shooting her because we could harvest does also on this particular hunt. But I thought, nope, she's acting like something is interested in her. And I believed that she was one of the deer in there that the bucks were chasing. And because it was a thicket, she was able to get away from them. Well, it wasn't long as she closed the distance. She was about 30 yards near me at this point in the viewing of her. And I happened to see motion behind her in the edge of the thicket, and her head comes up, and she turns and looks over her shoulder, and she sees and hears the commotion also, and out steps the buck that's behind me. And he steps out and looks down and sees her and begins to pick up his pace and begin trotting towards her. And she dives back into the thicket, and he follows her, and I'm like, I missed my opportunity. And probably another 20 minutes go by, and I can hear them or him pushing her through the thicket. And I again see flashes of antlers, and it's not too quick until I'm sitting on the corner of this thicket, and he comes out down to my left. He steps out and begins to walk down the bank into that drainage, and he turns left, and he's coming right to me. Well, by this point in time, I have him in the scope, and I am just waiting for the right broadside opportunity. And he gets to about 40, 45 yards as he slightly angling towards me, but quartering past. So I just made a little noise, meh, and he stops dead in his tracks, turns his head to look at me, and I squeezed the trigger and was fortunate to watch him die within 40 to 50 yards after the shot. And after that, it was all about taking the pictures. Like I said, I like those mainframe 8 points, and if it's a good 10 also, but I like the mainframes. So God bless you all, and I enjoyed this hunt very greatly. Oh, there's another buck back there. Let's talk about him.